What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only. It's Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scotty, what's happening today? Lots, I hear.
Oh, yeah, lots. But in terms of video games, it's, what shooter do I play now? Trying to divide up my time.
Dude, you and I are going to have to talk real soon. We'll talk after the show what we're playing right now because, man, I cannot wait to be able to talk about the stuff we're talking about or playing. There's a lot going on, but there's also a lot going over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as Inside the Game Official on YouTube. We're there. You can join us live, but if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, coming up on today's show, Valve is all steam ahead on Steam Deck. So nope, there's no chance of Half-Life 3 anytime soon. There's a Marvel MMO. No. I know, that's sad, eh? Dude, I'm not surprised, but that's pretty sad. There's a Marvel MMO from the team behind DCU Online, and Halo Infinite discs are seen in the wild. So, heads up for spoilers. Dude.
Yeah, I've seen that. Lots of posting on that in Twitter and other places. Just, well, be careful what you look for right now.
Absolutely, right? Yeah, so we'll get into that discussion. But first, let's get over to Chris Scullion over at VGC with Half-Life 3 is reportedly not in development as Valve focuses on Steam Deck. Half-Life 3 is not in active development, and Valve is instead focusing on the Steam Deck friendly titles, according to a report. Tyler McVicker of Valve's news network states in a new video that according to his sources, there is no sequel for Half-Life 2 Episode 2 currently in development. Quote, to get the big question out of the way, is there a true follow-up to Half-Life 2 Episode 2 in development in any capacity at Valve Software? End quote. Well, quote, the end of Half-Life Alyx, for those who haven't played, is heavily hinted towards the continuation of Gordon Freeman's story. Dude, that's pretty exciting there, but it just leaves everybody hanging. Scott, are you at all surprised by this?
No, I think this is... I'm trying to remember when Half-Life 2 would have come out and been huge, and then Episode 1, 2 following that. It's been such a long-awaited thing for Half-Life 3, and that's what broke the news in such a positive way with Half-Life Alyx.
Yes.
Because here it is, we're finally here, and as much as I want to see a sequel to Half-Life, I'm not sure if it'll ever live up to the hype that's been created.
that's
Um,
that's the worry, right?
Perhaps maybe a Half-Life Alyx 2 would be more possible. Another side story. There's lots of characters to draw from.
Sure. Yeah, it's oh man. But let's see. Valve is trying to get the Steam Deck out, and like many have observed, the Steam Deck has been significantly more successful than originally anticipated. So Valve is throwing a lot at it. Quote, Half-Life 3, Half-Life 2, Episode 2, and any kind of traditional mouse and keyboard FPS of Valve is not taking place. If it is, it's a very small group of people. Those individuals will not be seen as value generating by the higher ups.
Oh,
Wow,
I
that's
don't know if I agree with that
that's
analysis,
a tough one.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
that's the corporate world there for you.
Well, exactly, right? But right now, dude, honestly, it is all hands on deck for I did not mean that. For Steam Deck. That was yeah. It's all about the Steam Deck right now, getting that out there. Basically, Steam Deck, for those who don't know, is Valve's handheld mobile device that allows you to tap into your personal PC library, but not all of your PC library, which is the funny thing about it, Scott, because they say it'll work for certain titles. Dude, I was this close from ordering one. And then they're like, might not work with everything in your library. And I went, whoa, hold up.
I'm looking at Total War. I'm going, well, that's the cutoff for me. If you put Total War on a handheld, I have to get that as just a curiosity. But no, Total War, just a massive grand campaign, thousands of units moving around. Of course, it's going to be difficult for the hardware, but that's what I want to see as a test.
Well, the thing is, too, it doesn't even work from the cloud. You can actually physically download it to a memory card on the Steam Deck. And that was my biggest thing. We talked about it all the time, how we kind of sit in front of our computers for so long throughout the day. And we're really kind of heavily focused on the console side of things because we're able to sit on our couch in front of a big screen TV instead of sitting on my keyboard. And mouse and keyboard just isn't really where I'm at, but I am this week for a game, but we'll talk about that later. So, however, to get over in the portable side of things, dude, there's certain games I'd love to bring from my Steam library and be able to do that. And they have had, like, what was that stream to your TV scenario that they had? Big screen mode or something like that way back when.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So they've had other iterations, but I thought maybe this could have been the way I could take some of my PC library with me. But it sounds like it's only temporary, and it sounds like it's still a lot in the works and development of what games will work and what games won't. So they're focused heavily on figuring out what works and just what doesn't work. And it's kind of
I'm wondering why we have seen so much of the Steam Deck development already. It seems a little early to me because there's all these questions that we're wondering, and it's just I feel like there hasn't been a lot of answers to some of these questions that have come up, and almost as if they're not entirely certain of the capabilities either.
I think that's the thing about it is I'm glad I didn't pre-order. I'm gonna hold back, wait and see if it's a good launch or is it a disaster. And like people are going, it doesn't work. We saw something that it doesn't even run Apex Legends on it. I was like,
no,
like that should work. Shouldn't that work to you, Scott?
The Nintendo Switch really suffered with that one too, though, didn't it?
Bad. That was just awful, man. Oh man, it was. You couldn't even. I was getting shot and I couldn't even see my target. Like it was so chunky and whatever. But hopefully, what's not going to be chunky is that Marvel MMO is in development at DC Universe Online's developer. The MMO was revealed via an investor's presentation. This comes from Jordan Midlet over at VGC. An MMO based on Marvel Universe is in development at DC Universe Online developer Dimensional Ink Studios, according to an investor presentation. Dude, this is exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I've seen a huge splash with what DC Universe was.
Oh, absolutely.
And at the time, I was thinking about, well, this is cool, but I'm more Marvel.
Yeah, absolutely. This news follows concept art that was leaked in 2019 that seemed to show off character design for Daybreak's earlier attempt at a Marvel MMO. A slide in the presentation notes that the unannounced MMORPG is set to be a Marvel IP-based, massively multiplayer online game, and that it is led by Jack Emmert, who was formerly the lead of City of Heroes and currently heads up the DC Universe Online team. This is rather exciting, man. So the biggest thing we know right now is that Marvel's killing it with a lot of people that they're partnering with, right? Insomniac
Mhm.
probably being one of the most notable right now with Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Wolverine is coming up, which has me pumped. As
Oh
of
yeah.
today, Spider-Man also comes to Marvel's Avengers, so we will see how that one goes. Stay tuned to the show.
I am anxiously awaiting your video on that.
Yeah, I know you are. Steve and I will be covering that one for sure. But now
But
we're gonna,
here's the question:
yeah.
Is Spider-Man making its way to the MCU? I don't know if that's right. The Marvel Universe game.
Well,
Would it include Spider-Man, or is that held up still because of the licensing?
no, this has to come this way. I would think it's going to be here. Spider-Man has to be. Spider-Man's a huge IP in the world of Marvel, right? So there's
Yeah,
certain
he's got to be the
characters.
most popular.
I think, yeah, if not the one of the most popular characters, right? I
Mhm.
think that's fair to say. You got Iron Man up there and a couple others too that we've followed with the Avengers for so long now. So to have, so the, did you ever play the DCU at all?
No, I watched a roommate of mine play quite a bit of it. Actually, funny story. He bought a lifetime membership about 2 weeks before they decided the game was free to play.
Oh man, that hurts.
I think that was like $200
Ouch.
gone.
Poof. Thank you for your
Yeah, that one
purchase.
hurt.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this company figured out how to deliver properly, kind of got the troubleshooting out of the way so that
Yeah.
this version of that idea can come out smoothly.
Well, this has been going, so DCU has been going for something like close to 10 years. Like this was back on
It must be,
PS3
yeah.
360 days, right? And it launched over there and has since seen a massive influx of players. There's a huge community behind that. So that tells me that there's something that's a solid foundation there. And if they can transfer that over into the world of Marvel, which is my preferred, if anything, so maybe that will hook me and I'll get into it. But you don't play as the main characters. You design your own character, go out and do your own thing,
Mhm.
kind of thing, which is exciting, man. To me, that's pretty exciting. I've played
Now,
Spider-Man over and over and over for years now. If I could have what would your superpowers be, Scott?
well, I've always been looking at flying.
Me too.
I have certain evidence to suggest that I can heal like Wolverine, but I think I want to live out a power that I don't have, right? So
There you
flying
go.
would be the one. But if you're going to pick kind of the good side or the bad side,
Ah.
which one would you go for Marvel?
I'd probably go the good side. That's my tendencies to do that. I never really picked the evil side. Like you could do that in Fable, and I never went that way. I
Oh,
always went
yeah.
for the good side, right? It's just kind of, or you
It
can do the
feels
same thing
bad
in Mass
doing it in
Effect.
Fable.
Well, yeah, right. Sometimes it's really rewarding to go the bad side, but I always tend to go to the good side. But yeah, I'm like you. I'm flying because I have no patience to get anywhere, and I just want to get there now. So flying is probably the easiest way to get there.
Well, and if you have pennies in your pocket and you're flying, well, you have a scatter bomb now.
Oh, well, what else is flying, Scott? Is apparently Halo. Halo's flying off the shelves already. It's not even out yet, and people are getting their hands on it. So be wary of this. This comes from Ryzon over at Windows Central. Halo Infinite is easily one of the most highly anticipated titles of 2021 within Microsoft Xbox Game Studios family. While slated for a launch on December 8th, the title appears to be making a circulation a little ahead of its schedule. Copies are being sent out already from games like the brick and mortar stores are releasing the game already, Scott. Like that's not cool, dude.
Hmm. Well, I have doubts that they're releasing them because that just seems so
I've
obviously a
seen
bad
it
maneuver.
before.
Unless you want to see a Black Hawk helicopter land in your backyard, I don't know if that's a great idea to do. And
Yeah.
it just, I have to be careful of what I say here, but I'm aware of certain situations in the past where
Uh-huh.
people have had small businesses and they leak some of the games out. Okay, I've
Absolutely.
known you for 10 years, Tim, here you go.
Yeah.
And well, that it's fun, of course it is when you're handed that game early, but the spin out effect of that is, well, are you going to go online with it?
Well,
Is
that's
that
the
safe to
thing,
do?
right?
Is that going to destroy your Xbox?
Yep.
That's what I'd be worried about.
Whoa,
And
man.
furthermore, you can't really share your experience with anybody.
So here's how do I put this? Here's my experience with early access to games. Certain individuals, like the media, will get a game early, and we are whitelisted to have access to that game. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you have Halo right now, and if you are not on the list for reviewing the game, chances are they have the ability to go in and just wipe your Xbox clean. Right.
Oh.
That's the kind of the ins and outs of it somewhat. Like, they know who's playing their game, and what they can do about that, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't imagine it would be a good thing if you have access to it already and you're not part of the media with the whitelisted label on there. So just be wary, but also just a heads up, you might see spoilers and stuff, because I know the media has embargoes and stuff already set in place that we always follow, especially here over at ITG. But if you are
Mhm.
not part of that media and you are able to get in there and you start posting stuff already, yeah, you may shoot up in the ranks of Twitter and all that kind of stuff, but you're only going to be short-lived, as you that will then be plummeted down as everybody jumps all over you. So heads
Yeah,
up.
no, it's most likely not going to be worth it.
No, right? So just be careful, but also just be mindful too of there could be spoilers in the future. So watch your socials real closely right now, because you don't want to be spoiled on something we've been waiting for so long. I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest part, right? So, dude, let's move over into the world of Dom over at VG 24/7. Don't expect to see Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox Game Pass or PS Now anytime soon. CD Projekt Red parent company CD Projekt has noted, what a weird thing, has noted that it is way too early for Cyberpunk 2077 to join any of the console subscription services. During an investors call yesterday, the company was asked whether or not they were going to place Cyberpunk 2077 on any subscription services like PS Now or Game Pass. President Adam responded, quote, "We always consider any business opportunity, but this kind of subscription model is good at a certain moment in the life cycle of the product, so not too early," end quote.
Hmm.
The Witcher 3 was for some time on Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Now, so I wouldn't rule it out, Scott, but as of right now, I think CD Projekt Red is just looking to recoup any money they can.
Yeah, it's a curious situation though, because if you're going to deny the opportunity to go to Game Pass, it makes me think, well, these people believe there's a lot more revenue to acquire still. And
Yeah.
I think at this point, it's been about a year since release. There's a lot of curiosity out there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And that would drive some sales, but eh, people like myself are really just waiting for that Game Pass. So I understand what they're saying, though. If they've made all the sales they can,
Yeah.
take a payout from Game Pass, and it puts it out there for more people. But it's just a curious situation now, because I want to play the game, but I've said this a couple times. I think I'm waiting for Cyberpunk 2078.
That's well. Here's the thing. Take note of too. They're also working on next gen versions of the game, right? They're going to release that sometime in 2022, and then that's what they're kind of working towards. Because of as of right now, we saw the launch and how that went, and we all know how Cyberpunk launched. It was a disaster.
Yeah.
But have since then seen a bunch of patches. I've seen a lot of people talk about how good it actually runs right now, or at least at a stable situation. So I haven't had the guts to jump back in because I was too heartbroken the first time. But we will see if that goes around or not. I don't know. I might jump into next gen versions. But as
It's been so long that I kind of want to jump into it just to beat it up a little.
just to see, dude, I just want to see how well it works or how well it doesn't work. I think it's more of a curiosity thing, right? Because
I want my NPCs to blow up before my eyes. I want to see it at its worst, really.
You're such a jerk. I just, for me, when I beat a game, I'm done and I just move on, right? So unless they come out with DLC, I don't know if I'll actually return or not. But coming to next gen consoles, dude, I really just want to have The Witcher 3. That's where that's what I'm waiting for. I was never able to finish that, and there's so much content in that game. To bring that to next gen, dude, I'm all in. Like, seriously.
Man, I played The Witcher 2 all the way through, and I almost started it a second time. I loved it. But then when it came to Witcher 3, I didn't make it past the tutorial opening.
It's because that was 20 hours.
So sad.
The tutorial was 20 hours.
I was still 100 hours away from seeing the title screen, but
that's right.
I'm told it's worth it.
Yeah, dude, let's move over to Jared Moore over to IGN. Record-breaking Twitch streamer Ludwig moves exclusively to YouTube gaming. Twitch loses another one, Scott. Twitch streamer Ludwig Wig, who broke records for his number of subscribers on the platform, is making a move away, announcing that he signed exclusively for YouTube Gaming. The streamer announced the move on Twitter, where he shared a short clip that shows him and a friend switching out of a car sporting Twitch's iconic purple color scheme and into another coated in YouTube red before the words "streaming exclusively on YouTube Gaming" appeared. Dude, there goes another one. There's been a lot of things going over with the DMCA music strikes, this, that, and the other. And it's just made, Twitch has made things a lot more complicated and a lot less friendly, where you're starting to see some of the biggest switch over from Twitch and go to YouTube completely, right? So
yeah, that's happened a lot in the last year, 2 years especially. All these exclusivity deals. So this makes sense that they're cutting
moves, man.
Ludwig a check, basically, but it's more power going to YouTube Gaming, which is something that's so overlooked.
Well, it is, right? And it's starting to make, I think, a bit of a dent in what Twitch has basically been dominating now for years in the streaming field of things. You saw Dr. Lupo switch over. We've seen Tim the Tap Man. And if you watch, I watched Tim the Tap Man's explanation of why. If you take a look at what YouTube does versus what Twitch does, Twitch, we stream here on Twitch, we stream on YouTube. The difference being, when we stream on Twitch and we're done, that is it. Our clip, our video, it's held for like 30 days. On YouTube, it never leaves, right? And that's the biggest thing. Tim was talking about how his content just stays. You can catch it later. You can stop it. You can play it. You can do whatever you want, but it won't disappear. Where Twitch, it just kind of vanishes. It gets wiped from the server. And that's part of the issue, right? Where Twitch at one point had, they called it, I think it was something like producer mode or something like that allowed you to actually upload your own videos. I don't know where that went to, but it's no longer there. They were kind of competing with YouTube in a sense, but now it's
been so long since I really looked at it. But I do remember, I know I have a couple game clips that are saved, but I don't remember if I would have had to label them, name them, or whatever to keep them there.
Right. So there was it was like a whole YouTube format, right? You upload your video, you do all this stuff, and then boom, it's there. But now it's all gone. So I'm curious, what is Twitch going to do? Because they're losing some of the biggest streamers around. When Ludwig went for this, he started this stream that he would stay every time he got a subscriber, it would add a little bit more. And the minute that stopped, it would be done. Well, dude, it went for a whole month. Right?
Streamathon. Yeah, this is okay. When we first read Ludwig here, I was thinking, okay, I've seen this name before. Yeah, it's because that guy had to mercifully have the stream plugged or plug pulled, I believe. It was just he would have been streaming for another year.
He just kept it going, and every time someone subbed, he just stuck around a bit longer, and it just kept snowballing and snowballing. But he broke records, and now he left. Like, dude, if you're Twitch, you're going, man, what are we doing wrong over here? Right? Because we're losing everybody.
The top end is leaving, and they have the most reason to stick around.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know, man. It's an interesting battle to go back and forth between Twitch and YouTube and see how the two are going. But YouTube's signing exclusive deals, and I think that's the biggest move. Twitch has the money. They got the Amazon pockets. So they might want to tap into them and start pulling some people back because they're losing their audience, which is a weird thing to see. It's kind of you always wondered who would battle them in the streaming market because we saw Mixer go down, which was still a mind-blown phenomenon that Xbox purchased this company, Beam at the time, switch it over to Mixer, start growing this thing, and then they just collapsed it. But man, let's move back into the world of Valve, Scott, because Valve confirms that there won't be Steam Deck exclusive games. Can't say I'm all that surprised. Why would you need a Steam Deck exclusive? Valve has confirmed that it has no interest in publishing games that are exclusive to the Steam Deck. As confirmed on an FAQ page covering questions asked by developers and publishers at the company's Steamworks Steam Deck event, Valve has said that it isn't interested in developers creating games exclusively to the upcoming handheld. When asked about the matter, Valve's response was short and clear. Quote, "No, that doesn't make much sense to us. It's a PC and it should just play games like a PC." End quote. That is it, Scott. That's pretty straightforward. They don't need it, right?
Yeah, there are things that are PC exclusive just by nature. Well, I mentioned Total War. That's
Naughty by nature.
Something you can't do on a console. There's no way. So there is, I guess, some exclusives, but Well, it's hard to say. Do they compete with Nintendo exclusives? Because that's the most close entity on the market, really.
Sure. I think that's the biggest thing right now is their competition just isn't really there. They have such a huge library to tap into when you're competing against Nintendo. Nintendo does too, but you're on the Switch, which is limited hardware at this point now in the day and age. Like, where's the Switch Pro? So
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at with that. But they being Valve say it's the Steam Deck. You can just tap into your computer, and that's the whole purpose behind it, right? So, but Scott, let's wrap it up for today, dude. What games are coming out for today?
We have one that struck my fancy for sure. We have Beyond a Steel Sky.
That's right.
And that is on the Xbox One, the XS, PlayStation 4, 5, and the Switch.
Make sure.
And
go ahead. I was
we also have Evil Genius 2, World Domination, and that is on the Xbox 360, Series X and S, PlayStation 4 and 5. That is not something I was expecting to see.
That's got to be a typo, dude. I can't see it being on 360. Man, that's I'd say Xbox One. I can't see it being 360. That's an error. That's got to be an error.
No PlayStation Vita.
That's it. Make sure everybody swings by our YouTube channel. Check out Beyond a Steel Sky. We just reviewed that game now on consoles. It is awesome and definitely recommended from us. But of course, what also is recommended is ITG Daily Show that brings you the hottest in gaming news, where you can catch us live over on twitch.tv/the official ITG, as well as Inside the Game Official on YouTube. Can't join us live? Hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew, that's Scott, and we'll see everybody tomorrow inside the game.